Welcome back, everyone. This is Fantasy Football 201. This is a course designed to help you win a fantasy football title taught by me. I picked 201 because 101 wasn't available. It was already used by somebody else. But basically, this is a course designed to help give you advice on how to be successful in fantasy football. I am not an expert, but you don't have to be to succeed in fantasy football. And if I could be successful in this, you can be successful in fantasy football and win a title too. So in today's video, we are going to do a mock draft. This is a 12-team PPR league on ESPN. We are going to be entering the draft. Unfortunately, because I'm cheap, I don't have the live image of the draft attached to this video. Hopefully that doesn't hold it, hope you don't hold it against me or whatever, but we're going to continue with this and we're going to go into the fantasy football draft. I'm going to talk about the positions as we go through them. So real quick, I'm going to do a trivia question. If you can guess this right and comment below, then I will answer your question on the channel. Just ask any football question you want and I will answer it and give you a shout out on this channel as well. So the trivia question is, who was the #1 player in fantasy football last year? Who put up the most points in fantasy football? If you can be the first person to guess that, or if you just guess it in general, I might just answer your question anyway because I only have 80 subscribers right now. So take advantage of this while you can. Guess below, and I will give you a shout out on this channel. So we will now go to the mock draft, and we are about 1 minute and 35 seconds away from the first pick. In this draft, I am drafting number 6. So and the top players on the board right now are Christian McCaffrey 1, Dalvin Cook 2, Saquon Barkley 3, Travis Kelce 4. That's very high for tight end. That's surprising to me. Alvin Kamara 5, Derrick Henry 6, Zeke Elliott 7, Jonathan Taylor 8, Tyreek Hill 9, Devontae Adams 10, Austin Eckler 11. So that's generally right about the top picks right there. And then later on you got Stephon Diggs, Aaron Jones, Nick Chubb, Cam Akers, Antonio Gibson. I'm very surprised to see Antonio Gibson at 16. That seems a little bit of a reach to me. DeAndre Hopkins, Joe Mixon, Najee Harris, very underrated pick right there. Calvin Ridley, 20. DK Metcalf, 21. Clyde Edwards-Helaire, DeAndre Swift, A.J. Brown, Justin Jefferson rounds out the top 25. So, and then 26 is Michael Thomas. If that's going to be where he's falling on these draft boards, that could be incredible value for you right there, because New Orleans really doesn't have a whole lot of receiving options other than Michael Thomas that are consistent. So initial view, so this is the first mock draft that I've done on ESPN's format. I've done a couple on Yahoo Sports, but ESPN recently opened it up. So what surprises me is Travis Kelce being 4. That's the highest I've ever seen a tight end playing fantasy football, but it just goes to show you how much the discrepancy of tight ends and their performance plays into the need of having a guy like Kelce. And then Tyreek Hill being the #1 wide receiver is also a little surprising to me. So they've started the draft. I'm picking 6. First 3 picks were Christian McCaffrey, Dalvin Cook, and Saquon Barkley in order. And the next guy is taking his time. So I'm looking at Travis Kelce, Alvin Kamara, Derrick Henry, right around the range I would draft. So personally, out of that group, I would target Alvin Kamara. His PPR value as a running back is especially good for me, but it looks like he just got taken. Next, I think I might have to go Kelce here. So we take a look at the guys available. So they took Travis Kelce and then Alvin Kamara, and then Derrick Henry went off the board too. I have 30 seconds to pick. I have either Travis Kelce, Zeke Elliott, Jonathan Taylor, Tyreek Hill, Devontae Adams. So for me, this is a tough situation, but I think I'm actually going to probably go Travis Kelce here, because I think he locks down that tight end position, and I might be able to get one of these other receivers that I like later on as well. So I'm taking Kelce here. That wraps up my tight end position. And I think that it's a tough call, but I'm interested to see how this works if you go Kelce 1, how to build the rest of your draft. So the guy I was really thinking, if I wasn't going to go the Kelce route, I would probably take Devontae Adams. But again, having Travis Kelce puts you in a position where if you have Mahomes and then you can get the stack, it really adds a lot of value to your team. I'm not sure I would take Jonathan Taylor at 6, so that's why I was a little hesitant to go the running back route. He was the next best running back available, in my opinion. So now we go through the draft, and Jonathan Taylor went right after Kelce. Zeke Elliott. I'm not a big fan of Zeke Elliott as a first-round pick, personally. Nick Chubb, I think he's good value. He was that guy that went next. Good value, but again, kind of high. Austin Eckler was next at 10. I probably would have taken him if I had been drafting a little later than 6. Devontae Adams. A lot's going to depend on if Aaron Rodgers is still on the team, but as long as he is, Devontae Adams is a huge weapon. Then you got Tyreek Hill Tyreek Hill went 12 to round out the first round. Now it's going back around in a snake format. Stephon Diggs went 13. DeAndre Hopkins the next pick. So I am picking 19th now, and 15 is on the board. So Aaron Jones at 13, Cam Akers also on the board. Antonio Gibson, Joe Mixon, Najee Harris, Calvin Ridley, DK Metcalf. So I'm definitely targeting Najee Harris if he is available here. I really like that pick. I would have gone Aaron Jones, but I didn't think he was available, and somebody already took him. So there's 3 people ahead of me, and I'm really hoping they do not pick Najee Harris. Somebody picked Justin Jefferson. That's a little bit of a reach to me. So I'm holding out, hoping that Najee Harris falls to me. Somebody picked Cam Akers. Not a good pick, in my opinion. So there's hope I can get Najee Harris. Just need one guy to pick somebody else. And he's taking his time. I mean, the only concern with Najee Harris is how that line is going to hold up. But I think that in a team that really needs a good running back, and he picked Antonio Gibson. Antonio Gibson has not proven to be healthy is the problem. So I don't know why he would be in this range. So I have a choice between going Joe Mixon, Najee Harris, Calvin Ridley, DK Metcalf, or Clyde Edwards-Helaire, the top 5 on this board. I would personally go Najee Harris, and that is what I'm going to do. Joe Mixon would not be a bad call, in my opinion, but Cincinnati's line is just so porous, and I don't know how often they're even going to be running the ball anyway because of the fact they're probably going to be playing from behind a lot, so I'm taking Najee Harris. So right now I got Najee Harris and Travis Kelce on my team. The next guy took Joe Mixon, and my next pick is coming up at pick 30. So we will go ahead to pick 30 and see what is going on here. So Chris Carson is the guy that's projected to go to me at number 30. Guys around him that are above him. On down, 27 on the draft board, Terry McLaurin. I like that guy going into the season. Miles Sanders, not really. J.K. Dobbins, he's in a timeshare. Chris Carson, potentially. Keenan Allen, I'd like Keenan Allen. I think I might pick him if he's still available. Allen Robinson, could be good value. Amari Cooper, that's terrible value. Mike Evans, okay. Robert Woods, okay. George Kittle. I'm not going to go Kittle because I just took Kelce. So, and then Josh Jacobs is also down there a little bit, but Josh Jacobs is probably going to start the season suspended because he had a DUI. So 2 picks ahead of me. The order was Calvin Ridley, DK Metcalf, Clyde Edwards-Helaire. Darren Waller was taken above Kittle. That's very surprising to me. As a second-round pick, that's way too high in my opinion. Michael Thomas taken next. Michael Thomas fell. DeAndre Swift, A.J. Brown went next. Terry McLaurin got taken. J.K. Dobbins was the next taken, and now it's to me. So I have a choice of going the running back route. I could take Miles Sanders, Chris Carson, Josh Jacobs, or David Montgomery. I'm not really high on any of those guys. Or I could go the receiver route with Keenan Allen, Allen Robinson, Amari Cooper, Mike Evans. And of the group here, I'm personally going to go with Keenan Allen. I like that potential there that he's going to have with Justin Herbert improving. The only thing to keep in mind is that he's on the same bye week as Najee Harris, but I'm still going to do it. Keenan Allen is now on my team. So I've got Travis Kelce round 1, Najee Harris round 2, Keenan Allen round 3. And then I'm going to be going pick 43. So we'll take a quick preview to that. David Montgomery, 39 on the draft board. So he could be available. CeeDee Lamb, 40. Adam Thielen, Deontay Johnson, Myles Gaskin at 43. That actually could be pretty good value to get him in the 4th round. Julio Jones, 44. I'm honestly a little surprised Julio is down that far. DJ Moore, Chris Godwin, Tyler Lockett, and Cooper Kupp. Julio could be really intriguing here if he's available, but the only thing is that I don't know how. I know this is definitely leaning towards A.J. Brown being the guy on this receiving core. So Adam Thielen could be good value as well if he falls to me. I also like CeeDee Lamb's potential in this offense, and David Montgomery just got taken. So after I took Keenan Allen, the progress that's been made is George Kittle went next, David Montgomery, and then somebody took Robert Woods. I don't know why you would take Robert Woods that high personally. And then Allen Robinson just got taken. If an interesting scenario is if Miles Sanders falls, I might actually be interested in taking him if he falls me at 43. But I don't know if I'm going to do that. I'm kind of leaning towards Myles Gaskin right now, but he hasn't shown consistency yet. And Myles Gaskin just got taken, so I don't really have to concern myself with him at this time. Right before him was Chris Carson and Amari Cooper. So with 5 people ahead of me, I'm looking at Sanders, Evans, Jacobs, Lamb, Thielen, Deontay Johnson, Julio. CeeDee Lamb just got taken. So probably going to have to be a receiver. I think my top target of who's left is Josh Jacobs if he's available. But I also really like the potential of a guy like Adam Thielen if he is going to fall to me too. So we'll see what happens here. So 2 people ahead of me. CeeDee Lamb, Mike Evans, Miles Sanders all went off the board. So it's going to be Jacobs, Thielen, and those are the top 2. And then after that, it's going to be a bit of a scramble. Julio Jones got taken. So I'm going to pick between Jacobs and Thielen, whoever is left of that group. I also could go Deontay Johnson, DJ Moore, Chris Godwin, but those 3 I kind of have a little bit of questions about in terms of their consistency with their offenses. DJ Moore has potential, but I just don't know how it's going to look with Sam Darnold. So I would prefer to go Thielen if I would out of these receivers because it gives you, he's got a very good rapport with Kirk Cousins. And Josh Jacobs, sure enough, was taken. Adam Thielen has the same buy as all these receivers that I'm looking at, though. So that is a little concerning to me. So week 7 is going to potentially be an issue for this team in terms of all these guys that I have there week 7. But I'm not super confident in the rest of the guys that are listed below Thielen. So I'm going to go with Thielen at this time. Very underrated player. Remember, 3 years ago, I don't like to look at the past too much, but this guy was the number 1 wide receiver in 2018. He was up there as the top 5 receiver. Looked like the best receiver in football for quite a while. Had an injury issue last year, then last season was top 10. So still great value to get in the 4th round. After Adam Thielen, DJ Moore went off the board, Chris Godwin, Deontay Johnson, Tyler Lockett, Cooper Kupp, Travis Etienne got reached for. I could see that in PPR, 5th round, not bad. Kenny Golladay, Mark Andrews. So a lot of receivers in this range. Patrick Mahomes just went off the board. I might have actually considered taking him if he was around, but I'm not going to do that at this point. So then Jamar Chase went off the board. So the options here are a lot of receivers. Brandon Ayuk, I'm not going to do that. Cortland Sutton, potentially. Juju Smith-Schuster, Josh Allen, T. Higgins, Chase Claypool, Odell Beckham, Laviska Shenault, Kyler Murray, Dak Prescott, Chase Edmonds. And then you got Kareem Hunt, Robbie Anderson, Will Fuller. Will Fuller is interesting to me. So of this, I'm going to actually go with Kareem Hunt. And I know that's risky, but I really like Hunt's potential in this offense of the Cleveland Browns. If something were to happen to Nick Chubb, Kareem Hunt's got excellent value, and he still played top 10 level production, even with Chubb healthy for. He did miss a couple games, but he was generally healthy throughout the season. So Kareem Hunt got good value to me. I like that pick. What's going to be interesting to me, though, is what to do with quarterback at this point. So there's a couple of quarterbacks that are starting to come up on the board. Patrick Mahomes went. I thought about reaching for Kyler Murray, but I want to make sure I get some running back depth first before I take a quarterback. So I'm going to be looking to build that as it goes along. I'm picking 67, so Will Fuller is 67 on the draft board. I'm looking at him potentially. Brandon Cooks, that would be a no. DJ Chark, no, because he's got week 7 bye like a lot of my other players. Jerry Jeudy has mild interest to me. Tyler Boyd, TJ Hawkinson, Kyle Pitts. I'm probably not looking at a tight end since I have Kelce. Javonte Williams for Denver is interesting. Might be a good handcuff option. Mike Davis as a running back at Atlanta, 76. Interesting. And then you got some other quarterbacks like Lamar Jackson at 78. I don't know how Lamar Jackson is that far down the board. That's like pretty. To have him below Dak Prescott, I would not take Dak Prescott before Lamar Jackson. Lamar Jackson just gives you so much value running the ball. I might just do that. If he's available, I think I would take him because a lot of these receivers here are starting into the range of like, you're either betting a lot on their potential or you're just taking a guy who's probably not going to peak value for you. But if you can get Lamar Jackson here, I think I would probably go that route. So since I took Hunt, somebody took Brandon Ayuk. I don't know why he's that high. I know he's been decent for San Francisco, but I don't know if I would put him up in the 5th round. Kyler Murray went next, and then Josh Allen went. Chase Edmonds after that. Chase Edmonds is a good PPR pick. Mike Davis has a lot of opportunity since he's the starting running back. Javonte Williams, handcuff potential pick right there. James Robinson, a little high for James Robinson because his role is uncertain. Kyle Pitts is going 6th round, pick 2. Interesting. Dak Prescott was taken before Lamar Jackson. I don't understand that. 3 picks before me: Cortland Sutton, Juju Smith-Schuster, T. Higgins, Chase Claypool, Odell Beckham, Laviska Shenault, are all there. Those are all good receivers, but if I could get Lamar Jackson still at this pick, I would probably try to do that. Juju Smith-Schuster got taken next. He's really got a lot to prove this season. TJ Hawkinson was the next pick. Really hoping to get Lamar. No, they took him. Oh, man. That sucks. All right, well, I can add another receiver, though. I got Cortland Sutton, T. Higgins, Chase Claypool. I'm not going to take Chase Claypool because I have 3 guys already with the same bye week as him. Odell. That's actually pretty good value for Odell. Man. Cortland Sutton is really banking a lot on the potential of I'm actually going to go Odell. And the reason why is because I have Hunt. So I'm going to probably go with Cortland Sutton here. I think if I didn't have Hunt, I would probably go Odell just because of the potential. But Cortland Sutton is going to be one of the best receivers on the Broncos. He played very well in 2019 prior to but unfortunately got injured last year. And now what I'm hoping for is I've got Keenan Allen, but if I could get Justin Herbert at pick 78, he's currently 79 on the draft board. If I can get him, that would be excellent value, but I have a feeling he's probably going to go off the board before I can take him. So after I took Sutton, then Odell Beckham went off the board. Robbie Anderson, T. Higgins, Chase Claypool. So we are continuing through this. And then now it was Devonta Smith. That's a reach. Justin Herbert did get taken, then Laviska Shenault, now Russell Wilson. 2 picks ahead of me at pick 78. Probably going to end up taking another receiver: Will Fuller, Brandon Cooks, DJ Chark, Jerry Jeudy, Tyler Boyd. All people available. Running backs available. I'm just scanning ahead a little bit. A lot of guys are really kind of falling off the board at this point. Damian Harris, I don't like that at all. Raheem Mostert, I do like that. Zach Moss, potential. Leonard Fournette, David Johnson, Kenyon Drake. So these guys aren't really expected to be available for quite a while. I actually really like A.J. Dillon at 113. But let's take a look. After Russell Wilson, it was Brandon Cooks, Logan Thomas. Going to look at the quarterback landscape real quick. Aaron Rodgers at 89 is interesting, but I'm going to probably hold off and try to see if I can get somebody like Trevor Lawrence or Jalen Hurts who could give you some good running potential later on. So I have a choice between Fuller, Chark, Judy, Boyd, and I do like Fuller. I think he could step up a lot. DJ Chark, I'm going to actually, he's got that 7 bye. What do I do? I'm going to probably go Will Fuller here. I think Will Fuller presents a lot of potential. Top 5 receiver last year until he got suspended. So I think, and Miami needs a good receiver. I think he could be somebody to step up for them. So I got a lot of receivers on this team. I got Keenan Allen, Adam Thielen, Cortland Sutton, and Will Fuller. So this gives me some good depth at receiver. So what I'm focused on is building running back depth at this point and trying to get a quarterback for good value. I'm not going to be trying to reach for one of these guys like Tom Brady. That would be a bad call. Quarterbacks that are still left, Aaron Rodgers is 89 on the board. We're currently at pick 80. Tom Brady, 90. Ryan Tannehill, Joe Burrow. Joe Burrow could be a good pick if he comes back healthy. Jalen Hurts, I think that could be a sleeper pick. Matt Stafford, that would be a no. Trevor Lawrence, 129. That would also be a very good pick in my opinion. So after I took Fuller, there was Tyler Boyd, G.J. Chark, and Raheem Mostert. So somebody did reach up for Mostert. I think that was a good call. Running backs that are left, and this is where I'm really going to have to be trying to nail in some guys now. Damian Harris, Zach Moss, Leonard Fournette, David Johnson, Kenyon Drake, James Conner, Melvin Gordon, Ronald Jones are all ones available, and A.J. Dillon at 113. I like A.J. Dillon as a potential handcuff guy that could really step up a lot. Devin Singletary is actually lower than Zach Moss. So after it was Mostert, Dallas Goedert got taken. You see what's happening is that all these tight ends are getting taken very high because we know that there's not a lot of great tight ends. So just be careful if you're in a position where you're trying to reach for guys like Dallas Goedert. I think he could be good, but there's a lot of questions I have about him going 7th round. Damian Harris was next. Joe Burrow was after that. So there's a couple picks before me. A lot of the guys that are on the board are receivers. There's not really a lot of receivers here that I'm super high on. Some of the ones that are around are Jerry Jeudy. I think he could be good, but I also have Sutton, so I don't really like that. Deebo Samuel has some potential, but he's kind of didn't really have a great season last year. Marquise Brown, I think, is overrated. Jarvis Landry has potential values, but he also started very poorly last season. Antonio Brown, I'm not really a fan of that. And then you get to Aaron Rodgers and Tom Brady. I'm a little surprised they're going as low as they are. So Aaron Rodgers could be a good pickup here, actually. But there's a lot of questions about what Aaron Rodgers will provide to make it a true worthwhile pick to me. So I'm in the position now where I could, there's one person ahead of me. After it was Joe Burrow, they took Noah Fant. Again, another tight end being taken higher than he was on the draft board. David Johnson, Jerry Jeudy, Jarvis Landry, Curtis Samuel. Curtis Samuel, it seems a little high to me. Michael Gallup was the next at 83. Deebo Samuel, Marquise Brown, Antonio Brown, and then Aaron Rodgers, Tom Brady, Jalen Waddle, Henry Ruggs. So there's a couple routes I could go before this person went ahead of me and he took Michael Gallup. I could take one of these receivers like Samuel Brown or Antonio Brown. Not really a fan of that route. I could go Rodgers or Brady, but I would rather wait for something like that. Waddle and Ruggs have potential. But what I'm personally going to do is I'm going to try to shore up my running back depth a little more, and I'm going to go with Zach Moss. Zach Moss is he's got an opportunity ahead of him to step into that running back void. Devin Singletary has not always been the most productive. Zach Moss, I think getting him here would be pretty good value. So Zach Moss is being taken 8th round by me. Then they took Tom Brady. So I appreciated this draft that these guys are not reaching for Tom Brady and Aaron Rodgers, because I think that's a lot of times what happens is somebody takes Patrick Mahomes and then your people are taking Brady and Rodgers because it's like, oh, they're the best quarterbacks in the league, but they're simply just not the best fantasy players sometimes. There is some exception to that, especially with Aaron Rodgers. So now this guy's taking his time. So the next pick that I have is round 9, and it's going to be pick number 102. Value for them, because in reality there's a lot of times where you have to you just have to play the landscape over time and see how things are going to change to really get good value out of your receivers. So yeah. So after it was Jalen Hurts, now people are starting to look for running backs. They took Melvin Gordon, somebody took Tannehill, Trey Sermon, and Michael Carter. So I think those are all okay picks given the situation. Carter and Sermon are both interesting as guys, as underrated rookies that can step up into their system. Other guys that are looking out on the board for running backs, A.J. Dillon is still available. Jalen Waddle fell. That's a little surprising to me, but I think that these are pretty smart drafters here that I think kind of understand that he might be overrated. Nyheim Hines is also interesting to me as a PPR guy. So is J.D. McKissick. If he's an available running back, I actually would really consider taking him. Jamal Williams and Mike Williams both went off the board. I'm kind of indifferent on those two. I think they have some value, but not enough to really get excited about. Then Matt Stafford got taken. So the next quarterback up would be Trevor Lawrence. I'm interested to see where he's going to end up going. Henry Ruggs got taken. So the draft board that's up right now is Corey Davis, Jalen Reagor, Cole Beasley, Marvin Jones, Jonnu Smith, Ronald Jones. Ronald Jones has value to me. I'm a little surprised Ronald Jones is taken after Leonard Fournette because I think Jones has more upside. A.J. Dillon is still available, so I probably would take A.J. Dillon if he's still here, because I think that if anything were to happen to Aaron Jones, A.J. Dillon really has a lot of value. So that's really going to be a lot of my focus at this point, now that I've gotten a lot of my positions already set, is to try to get some running back depth. Bucks D. Again, the classic, you reach for a defense. The Buccaneers defense will be good, but I just don't know if they're going to generate enough turnovers to be valuable in the 10th round. I mean, you still have like 6 rounds to go to get a defense. But this is what's going to happen, is you're going to start like having these people like reach for defenses way too high. So yeah, we'll see what happens here. Trying to figure out what's going on now. So a couple people took before me, trying to get some of this stuff cleared real quick. Sorry for the delay. Darrell Henderson Jr. got taken. I don't know why you would take him over A.J. Dillon or Ronald Jones personally. So they're telling me to take Corey Davis. That would be a big fat no. Cole Beasley is interesting. The only reason I'm not going to do that is I already have a lot of guys on a Week 7 bye. And I have Zach Moss, so I'm going to be rooting for him over the Bills, for my Bills guys. So I'm going to go A.J. Dillon, get some good handcuff value for me. This guy's got top 5 upside if anything were to happen to A.J. or Aaron Jones. So, yeah. Corey Davis got taken. That was probably an auto pick. And then they took Irv Smith. That's very good value for him. Going 10th round, Irv Smith is pretty good to me. Jalen Reagor, Cole Beasley went off the board. Marvin Jones, Jonnu Smith, Ronald Jones, Nyheim Hines. Honestly, Nyheim Hines might be the best of those options. Oh, man, somebody took J.D. McKissick. That was going to be my stopgap, like, PPR guy right there. So now I've got a couple picks, and this is where it gets interesting to me, is Hunter Henry is available to me, and I could take him. I could be interested in doing that. The only thing is that it might come back to bite me. Michael Pittman Jr. has a lot of upside as well as a guy that's stepping into that system. Devontae Parker. So could I go against the grain and take 2 tight ends? I'm going to probably not do that, and I'm probably going to go Devin Singletary. The reason being is I've got both Bills running backs. So now if one of them steps up over the other one, I could, get myself in a situation where I can kind of play either or. The big issue for me is that this team has 5 guys with a week 7 bye. So that week is going to be especially interesting. So J.D. McKissick was taken, and then right before me, T.Y. Hilton went. A little surprised T.Y. Hilton went before Michael Pittman, but that was the guy taken right after I took Singletary, and then Evan Ingram, and then Russell Gage. Very smart pickup. If you could get him 11th round, that's really probably what I should have done there. Darnell Mooney went after him. And then pick 131, the next pickup right after that. So Trevor Lawrence is going. So the running backs left are James White, Terry Cohen, Latavius Murray, Gus Edwards, Alexander Madison. Madison is probably the one I would probably target out of those guys. Although if I want somebody that to just hold over for the meantime, Tariq Cohen could be interesting. Take a look at all positions. Hunter Henry, if Hunter Henry is still going to be available to be at pick 139, I think I might just take 2 tight ends. Because if Hunter Henry goes off week 1, the mindset I'm having as a fantasy owner is that you could try to flip him. I've already got Kelce. Use Hunter Henry to maybe get a good running back. Because that's the weak spot is at RB2 on this team. Trevor Lawrence went, and then it was Elijah Moore. Has some upside. Philip Lindsay, I think he might be the best option out of the Houston running backs. Go back and check my video. I talk about that. 49ers D went next. Paris Campbell going after that, and then Latavius Murray. So there's 2 guys ahead of me now. I could go Hunter Henry. I could go Eric Ebron. I'm not going to. The only reason I would take another tight end is if Hunter Henry is still around. Tony Pollard got taken. I think that's a good pick. So I could go the Hunter Henry route. I could take James White. That could be a good PPR option for me. Nelson Aguilar is also around here. There's a lot of Patriots falling around this range. Then Alexander Madison has handcuff upside. So I've got a couple running backs already. I've got 5. But I might want to go the route. So Gus Edwards went. I don't know why you would take Edwards over some of those other options I mentioned. So let's see. A couple options here. I could go with the Hunter Henry route. I could go with the James White, Nelson Aguilar route, or I could take Alexander Madison as a handcuff. So Madison would probably be the best pick here out of these guys. I probably will do that. I think, he's on the week 7 bye, so I probably will go James White actually. And this way, ideally I probably would take Madison, but I think I need some more running backs that can basically kind of step up right away. And I think James White could give you some good PPR value. That if you're really in a pinch and a lot of these guys aren't performing, then you can kind of throw him in there. Hunter Henry just went right after that. So I probably would have, if Hunter Henry is going to be falling in the 12th round, I mean, that's I think a good position that you could target tight ends. Gronk went next. I think for 12th round, that's not bad for him. Not super high on his upside, though. And then Eric Ebron, Devontae Parker, Jacoby Myers, Nelson Aguilar, Tariq Cohen, Alexander Madison, Rashad Bateman. That is a pretty good pickup, actually, for Baltimore. And then Austin Hooper. So now it's back to me. I could go Tua. That's what they're telling me to take. I'm not really thinking that, though. So there's a couple guys that I could take. There's a lot of receivers around here. Let's take a look at the running backs available at this point. So Giovanni Bernard could be a good option in Tampa. Darrell Williams, Kansas City. Rashad Penny has not really proven anything at this time. I'll probably go with Darrington Evans as a backup running back to fill my bench in case anything were to happen to Derrick Henry. So again, you're going for those handcuff guys to really give yourself some good positions to work with. And so if you notice, I've got 7 running backs on this team, and I might take it with the last pick too, because what this does for you is that a lot of people run out of running backs, they panic, and then they'll be willing to do anything to just get a second running back. So especially on a team like mine, which I filled up a lot of receivers first, and then K.Hunt right now is my RB2, which has some upside but also has potential downside at times. It puts you in a good position to, when you stack the rest of your bench with running backs, to give yourself some depth. If anything were to happen to Aaron Jones, Derrick Henry, guys that are going in the first round, then I've got their handcuff. So you could trade to that owner, or you could hold it, and if they get injured, then you've got yourself an RB1 now. So this is the type of strategy you want to be thinking about when you do this stuff. So I took Darrington Evans. Ravens D went. Harrison Butker went as the first kicker off the board. I think that's a little high, but I mean, these are smart managers and not taking a kicker very high in this draft. But Sterling Shepard went. He has a little bit of upside. Tevin Coleman, maybe if you're just looking for an early season guy to hold over your running back backfield. Tua then went. So there's about 6 picks ahead of me now. We'll look at all positions. And now you're getting to Matt Ryan and Ben Roethlisberger are the next up on the board. Giovanni Bernard, Darrell Williams, all there. But the one I'm targeting, and I'm telling you to watch out for this guy, is Tutu Atwell. Let's see where he is on this board. Tutu Atwell. Let's search him. And he's not popping up for some reason. Let me go to the Rams. 233 Tutu Atwell, not projected to get drafted at all. I don't know about that. He, I think, would be an interesting stack guy to take, but I think the fact that he's on waivers right now, it might just be worth to just hold off if he's not even getting drafted. I'm kind of surprised he's not even on the board. But let's go to all NFL teams now. Looking at running backs, there's a lot of running backs here that kind of have some variety of upside, not super high on. The one that I do like of running backs that could potentially be available, Ramondre Stevenson. He's got some potential upside for you. Then you have, Javian Hawkins got an opportunity with Atlanta. But for this purpose of this, I'm going to take my own handcuff, Benny Snell, for Pittsburgh. Because basically now, if my number one running back is Najee Harris, if he gets hurt, I have his handcuff. So I've got my benches. I've got 8 out of 8 running backs. So you're giving yourself a ton of room to work with in terms of potential trades, things like that. And then Tutu Atwell is out there on waivers, probably not going to get taken. I'm probably going to look to try to see if I can get him off waivers. I might drop one of these running backs depending on how the situation looks. But now I'm just looking at defense and kicker. And this is what I tell you to do is wait on these positions because these are easily the most exchangeable positions where you can just kind of hold one or the other. And that's basically what I'm telling you to do here is just wait on these guys. Let everything kind of settle for you. It fluctuates so much. You never know who's going to be a good kicker. And for reality, who's going to be a good defense when you're picking around this range anyway. So the defense that I chose here was the Browns because I think the Browns have upside. There were a lot of defenses that went before like Pittsburgh, Washington, Baltimore, Miami, things like that. So the one that I think had an upside that was left was Cleveland. And now I'm looking at the last round at kickers. So other skill position players of note going off the board around now, Rashad Penny. I don't even know if he's going to be in the league another year at this rate. Giovanni Bernard, Darrell Williams, Younghoe Koo went off the board. That was my guy from last year. I really liked having him on my team. So the kickers that I'm looking at left, Jason Myers, Brandon McManus, Jason Sanders, Matt Gay, Grant Gano, Greg Zuerlein, Tyler Bass, Josh Lambo. So the ones that I like of this group, Jason Sanders tied for number 1 kicker last year. Really interested in him. Tyler Bass, very underrated kicker. Buffalo's definitely got an offense that's going to give him a lot of opportunity. Will Lutz, actually pretty high on him too because he's got a leg. They might not be as good at converting in the red zone now that they don't have their like Drew Brees and guys like that. So could be a lot of opportunity for him. And yeah, so probably go Jason Sanders here if I have a choice. But looking at a see, you can wait on these kickers until the last round, and you can get yourself a pretty good kicker. So no point in really reaching to try to get one super early. Tyler Higbee went 15th round. That's great value for you there. If you can get Tyler Higbee on waivers as a tight end or get him in the end, that's great. Colts D, Greg Zuerlein, Brashad Perriman. That's a very low upside pick right there. Saints D, Tyler Bass, Jason Myers, John Brown, Brandon McManus. And then, sure enough, Sanders went right before me. All right. Well, the next one that's available to me is Matt Gay. I like that one because of the Rams. But again, I'm not putting a lot of stock into this. So I'm going to go with him. I think he's going to have some good opportunity with the Rams. But again, I'm taking him last round, so I can always drop him if things don't work out. Then Graham Gano, Packers D, Josh Lambo, Matt Prater. And the last pick is Daniel Carlson. So that completes our draft. So real quick, let's go over this team that I have. The first round, I took Travis Kelce. And then the second round, I took Najee Harris. Third, Keenan Allen. 4, Adam Thielen. 5, Kareem Hunt. 6, Courtland Sutton. 7, Will Fuller. 8, Zach Moss. Then in the ninth round, I took Jalen Hurts. Get a quarterback, pretty good running the ball. Some upside there. A.J. Dillon, handcuff. I got the other Bills running back, Devin Singletary, so I'm covered on the Bills basis, depending on what they do. And then I have James White as a PPR stopgap guy. Darrington Evans, handcuffed to Derrick Henry. Benny Snell, handcuffed to my own number 1 running back, Najee Harris. Browns defense, and Matt Gay, the kicker for the Los Angeles Rams. So overall, I'm pretty happy with that group. I think that of that mock draft group, the key would be to focus on getting your running back depth up to speed so you're really operating with a great running back. But, yeah. So, once again, answer the trivia question. And if you go back to my old videos, answer those song guess questions as well. If you made it all the way through this video, I really appreciate it. But if you could answer some of my previous questions and song guesses that I put up on my channel, take a look at it. If you answer it, I will answer your questions. Only have 80 subscribers, so take advantage of this now while you have a chance. But thanks for watching. Let me know what you think of this draft. Apologize I don't have the draft board up in front of me, and I was basically talking through all of it, but hopefully that was a good illustration of what strategy you should start looking into for fantasy football this season. All right, well, thanks for watching. I'll see you guys later. Bye.